In a slow-moving free agent market this offseason, one question remains among Yankees fans. Will the Yankees keep DJ LeMahieu? My answer coming up right now. What is up? This is the Bottom Line Podcast. I'm Jimmy Fedizzi. I hope you're doing well. As always, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to listen to us. We really do appreciate it. Before we get started, questions, opinions, Twitter and Instagram at BottomLineWMCX. Use the hashtag BottomLine. Leave a voice message on the Anchor app or at anchor.fm. And if you like what you see on YouTube, leave a like and a comment down below. Helps out tremendously. And please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss a single episode. And please make sure you subscribe on all audio listening platforms. Just include Jimmy when searching for the Bottom Line Podcast. It's a new week. Hope you're doing well out there. Christmas is next week. Can you believe it? It really is unbelievable. It's December 16th, 2020 at the time of this recording. And I can't believe Christmas is already next week. It really is. It really is unbelievable, boy. You know what? Only a couple more weeks left until this horrendous year is out of our lives, but I digress. So anyway, I know that there's a lot of football being talked about right now, but honestly, football is not on my mind today for once. I know the past few episodes have been very, very football heavy, but that's not on my mind today. What's on my mind today is baseball, as weird as that may sound, because let's face it, the free agent market in baseball this year has been very slow moving, very slow. Yeah, you saw a couple of signings here and there. You saw, I think like the biggest quote unquote free agent to sign somewhere was James McCann signing with the New York Mets. So we'll see what happens with the Mets there. And it looks like they're still going after George Springer. So that'll be very, very interesting. So we'll see what happens with the Mets. And if you're a Met fan out there, let me know how you're feeling about free agency so far on Twitter and Instagram. Like I said, you know the handles. But the Yankees are on my mind today because I've been hearing and seeing a lot of this over the past, actually, ever since the season ended, I've been seeing a lot of this talk, and that's keep DJ LeMahieu. We need him back. There's very few players like him in the league anymore. I agree with that part. I do. DJ LeMahieu is a once in a lifetime type of player nowadays, and the reason I say that is because in today's game, it's all about power. Everybody wants to hit the home run. Everybody. But then when you look at a player like DJ LeMahieu, he's an all-around player. He can hit for average. He can drive in runs. He is a stellar defender. And he can hit a home run every once in a while. He is a stellar player. I love watching DJ LeMahieu play. I loved watching him with the Rockies, and I especially love watching him with the New York Yankees. He is an absolute joy to watch as a baseball player. There is no other player like him. So let's take a look at his stats from his past 2 years as a New York Yankee. So last year in 2019, he batted .327, hit 26 home runs, and batted in 102 runs, 102 RBIs. This past season, he batted .364, hit 10 home runs, and batted in 27 runs. Granted, it was a 60-game season, but even still. Oh, and by the way, DJ LeMahieu played 145 games in 2019 out of 162, had 602 at-bats. And then this past season, played in 50 out of 60 games and had 195 at-bats. So it really just goes to show you how reliable of a player DJ LeMahieu is. Without him, I don't know where the Yankees would have been the past couple of years. I mean, look, not to say that the rest of the guys are scrubs. I mean, Aaron Judge certainly is a fine player. Gleyber Torres is going to be a star. We really don't know about Gary Sanchez at this point. Listen, I'm not giving up on Gary Sanchez, but if he has an abysmal year like he did this past season, then I hate to say it, it might be time to give up on the kid. I'm sorry. I really hate to say it. I don't want to give up on the kid. But again, if he goes out there and has an abysmal season again, it might be time to cut bait. I'm sorry, but I digress there. But really, look at the Yankees from top to bottom. That lineup should scare you, especially with Mayhew, with Judge, with Torres, and Duhar if he comes back healthy. Clint Frazier, who has really, really proven his worth last year, especially. He has really, really improved defensively, and I really, really love watching him play now. I can go on and on and on. But look, is hitting an issue with the Yankees? Yes. They need to play small ball a lot more. Excuse me. Pitching is also an issue if you really think about it. Outside of Garrett Cole, because we all know what Garrett Cole is. Garrett Cole is an absolute stud. But if you really look at their pitchers, at least their starters, you have Garrett Cole, obviously. You have David Garcia, who looks like he is going to be an absolute stud. But the big question mark is Tanaka. A, are they going to bring him back? And B, his elbow. Look, I know he's proven that he can pitch through the elbow injury. I get that. And it doesn't seem to be an issue now. But the way he pitched in the postseason this past year was not great. He was not good. I'm just going to call it how I see it. That was probably his worst postseason probably in his career. Because I can't recall Tanaka ever having a bad postseason outside of this past season. So if you do decide to bring him back, what are you going to do with DJ LeMahieu? Odds are they could figure out a way to keep both. But if they do, that's going to be really tough on them when it comes to finances. Because here's the reason why I think they're, I don't want to say hesitating, because I know they made DJ LeMahieu an offer. I know they did. But I think the reason they're quote-unquote hesitating a little bit to actually re-sign him right now, look at the contract of Giancarlo Stanton. I think that should pretty much explain all you need to know. I mean, the guy's making an abysmal amount of money. I mean, granted, this past season he had probably his best postseason ever. And you know what? He definitely proved that he can shine when the lights are brightest. So give Giancarlo Stanton credit for that. But it's still an albatross of a contract. It's an abysmal amount of money. And because of that, I feel it's the reason why the Yankees are not really doing anything to sign LeMahieu or Tanaka or anybody really at this point. But it's because of that contract. It really, really is coming back to hurt them. But again, I'm not going to go too deep into that. But anyway, you look at the rest of their roster here. Garrett Cole, we mentioned. David Garcia is one of them. What's Domingo Germán going to be when he comes back? Loaizica, look, Jonathan Loaizica still has some kinks to work out, but he can be a pretty solid pitcher. Montgomery, look, I'm cutting Montgomery a break. The guy hadn't pitched in 2 years, so let's see how he is when he comes back for an actual full season. So let's pump the brakes on Jordan Montgomery. I'm giving him a pass. Severino, what's he going to be when he comes back? He's been hurt. So their pitching's a big question mark because the majority of the guys have been hurt. But then when you look at their bullpen was a big issue this postseason. It really, really was. And for a little bit, for the regular season, a couple of the games, their bullpen really could not get it done. I mean, of course, you have Chad Green, who I think is still really, really good. You have Adam Ottavino, who knows if he's going to come back. You also have, who else do we have here? Look, Aroldis Chapman. Look, can we give Aroldis Chapman a break? I mean, seriously, do you think he wants to go out there and give up a home run to Mike Brasso? No. And for people saying, oh, well, did you see him smiling? He was not smiling. He was not. Come on, stop yourself. Really? You think he meant to give up that home run to Brasso? No, I'm sorry. So let's cut him a break, please. Mike Brasso ultimately got the last laugh against Chapman after he threw behind his head in that one game against the Rays. So Brasso gets his revenge there. But Chapman, look, nobody will ever be Mariano Rivera. Nobody. Not even Chapman. Yes, the guy could throw 105 miles an hour. I get that. That is outstanding. But nobody will ever be Mo. I'm sorry. That's just the reality. But here's the thing. You have Chapman, and you also have Britton. If you want to tweak your bullpen issue just a little bit, why don't you do this? Britton seemed to be a much better closer than Chapman was this past season. Make Zach Britton your closer and make Chapman your eighth inning guy. And then you could probably have Green come in for the sixth or seventh inning, or bring him into the sixth inning. Maybe he could pitch 2 innings for you. And then bring in Chapman, and then bring in Britton. Simple as that. So that fixes your pitching issue a little bit right there. But back to DJ LeMahieu, because I'm getting off track here. CC Sabathia had a very interesting take on the whole DJ LeMahieu situation. I want to credit the New York Post for this article here by Dan Martin, which was posted 2 days ago on December 14th. CC Sabathia landed what was then the richest contract for a pitcher in Major League history when he signed a 7-year, $161 million deal with the Yankees before the 2009 season. It won't take that large of an investment to keep DJ LeMahieu in the Bronx, but CC knows how unpredictable free agency can be. While promoting his HBO documentary Under the Grapefruit Tree, and by the way, if you haven't seen that yet, my goodness, it hits you right in the feels, man. It is tremendous. I highly recommend you go check out that documentary about CC. It really is. It really is amazing stuff. But anyway, while promoting his documentary, CC said, quote, "When I was a free agent, I didn't know what it was like to step into the Yankee clubhouse. LeMahieu knows what it's like to play in front of a packed crowd. He proved that he can play in New York, and everyone wants him to stay. But you don't expect anything in free agency because you never know how it's going to turn out. He's a great teammate, a great player, and fun to be around. And he hits like a machine." hence his nickname, Le Machine, or The Machine, however the heck you want to say it. But CC's kind of spot on about this. Oh, look, even though it's slow this year at least, free agency still can be very, very crazy. So you never ever know what can happen. As we know right now, apparently the Yankees and LeMahieu are $25 million away from getting something done. And by the way, can we calm down about that? $25 million is not as far off as you think, especially when it comes to baseball money. But I digress there. So let's calm down about that. And we know LeMahieu said that he's going to meet with other teams, which should be no surprise there. And he is going to come back to the Yankees before he makes a final decision. So please just calm down and let's see what happens. Let him meet with the other teams. I think the Mets were interested. I think the Giants were interested. So it's gonna be interesting. But let's see what he does, and when he makes a final decision, then we'll have a further discussion about that. But I actually do have a couple of options for the Yankees for them keeping DJ LeMahieu. So, and I actually wrote it down here. I actually have notes today, if you can believe it. So option 1. If the Yankees want to keep DJ. Option 1 would be a 4-year contract worth $80 million with a $20 million team option for year 5, or a $4 million buyout. Option 2, a 5-year, $90 million contract, no options. Now, which one would be better? Well, that's tough because option 1 would be slightly better for Mayhew. Because if you really, really think about it, he'll make $84 million over 4 years. $21 million is the average annual value. And if you really think about it, the Yankees won't have to worry about paying upwards of $20 million in the 5th year of the deal. And if they're not comfortable with the way LeMahieu is performing by that time, you know, they can buy out his contract. It works out for everybody. But option 2, if you can see my fingers here on camera, if you're watching on YouTube too, option 2 would be better for a Yankee standpoint. But at the same time, it also gives DJ the 5th year that he's looking for. He's looking for a 5-year deal rather than a 4-year deal. So this would be better for both the Yankees, well, for the Yankees and for DJ, because DJ gets that 5th year option. Look, so what do I think is better? Honestly, I would just give him the 5-year, $90 million deal and just call it a day there, because yeah, he's 32 years old, all right? Of course, he's not going to be the same player he used to be as he gets older. And if the Yankees aren't satisfied with the way that he's hitting, then they can probably figure things out from there. But I would give him the 5-year, $90 million deal. That's just me. Let me know what you think on Twitter and Instagram. But look, now to fully directly answer the question, will the Yankees keep DJ LeMahieu, bottom line? And my answer is yes. I think they will find a way to keep him because, let's face it, they need him. They really need him because, like I said, he's an all-around player. He can hit for average. He's a stellar defender, a Gold Glove defender, I might add. He can hit a home run every once in a while. But more importantly, he's a leader. I know Brett Gardner is a leader, but DJ LeMahieu is also a very, very good leader. He is a great guy to be around in the clubhouse. His teammates love him. They admire his work ethic, and it'll be really, really good for the Yankees and the entire organization if they decided to keep him. So, bottom line, I think the Yankees will keep DJ LeMahieu. Just give him the 5-year, $90 million contract, no options, and we'll see what happens from there. But again, let him meet with the other teams. Look, if he signs a 4-year deal, hey, I'm all for it. More power to him. But let him meet with the other teams, and then let him come back to the Yankees before he makes a final decision. And once he makes that decision, then we'll have a further discussion. But bottom line, I think the Yankees are going to keep DJ LeMahieu. Let me know what you think. Will the Yankees keep DJ LeMahieu? And Yankee fans, how are you really feeling about this? Let me know on Twitter and Instagram at BottomLineWMCX. Use hashtag BottomLine. Leave a voice message on the Anchor app or at Anchor.fm. And again, if you like what you see on YouTube, leave a like and a comment down below. It helps out tremendously. And please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss a single episode. And please make sure you subscribe on all audio listening platforms. Just include Jimmy when searching for this podcast. Coming up in the next episode, one player is doing more with less, and one is an absolute stud in his own right. But who is my vote for MVP between two certain NFL quarterbacks? That's coming up in the next episode. I'm Jimmy Finizzi. This is the Bottom Line Podcast. See you in the next episode. Peace out.